name is Anders and you're watching Watch On channel. In this video I'm going to continue my walkthrough of what were released of very interesting watches during Baselworld 2017. The different watches I'm presenting you with in this video are being released from now and all through 2017. So some of them are already in the shops and some of them will be out in the boutiques and be available online at a later point. In the first video I looked at all the very interesting chronograph watches. In the second video I took a look at the very interesting dive watches, and in this video I'm of course looking at dress watches. And the first dress watch we're looking into is also one of the most interesting and actually one of the dress watches of this Baselworld 2017. I think really hit the spot and hit the bullseye. This is the Oris Big Crown 1917 limited edition. So the short story behind this watch is actually that Oris somehow discovered that this Swiss brand back in 1917 actually had released their very first pilot's watch, their very first aviation watch. And when the people at Oris figured this thing out by looking in the archives, they decided to do a re-release of this uh, aviation pilot watch they released back in 1917. And the product is out now. So this is the Oris Big Crown 1917 limited edition. And when you look at the dial, it has the distinct features of a vintage watch. Also, the way they did the locks are very old school vintage inspired, just as the big onion crown is looking very vintage. So also you will notice there's no second hand. There's no second hand. So you won't this watch won't count the seconds. It will only count minutes and hours. So no rushing, which is actually kind of nice with this watch. Also that it's like kind of a laid back watch. Don't rush, don't stress. We're only talking about minutes here. Another distinct feature with this watch is the pin at 2 o'clock. Actually, this pin is made for setting the time on the watch. So if you push this pin, then you can set the time by rotating the crown without pulling out the crown. You can also set the time by pulling out this big onion crown. But that's a very nice feature. As you can see, it's also very vintage in the style of how round the case actually is. So everything about this watch really just screams vintage watch, but it is a top modern watch. And also the size with this watch is 40 millimeters, so they didn't go all into making a 35 millimeter watch or something. They kept a 40 millimeter size, which is actually perfect in today's world, where you would like a nice smaller size for being a dress watch, but still you don't want a too small watch. So 40 millimeters should really hit the target spot on with a lot of potential buyers from this watch. It's also fitted with a very nice leather strap. Also, when we look closer into this watch, if we should open the watch, it's fitted with a Sellita SW200-1 base, which is close to an ETA movement. Oris modified this movement a bit, but still, this is not a very high-end, top quality movement. But it's a good, honest movement, and well, I think it's perfectly fine. Also, when you look at the price for this watch, of course, you wouldn't get a crazy in-house movement with the price of this watch. Actually, everything really falls into place with this watch, which is being released in only 1,917 pieces, as you could imagine. It will be priced at around 2,400 Swiss francs, which is kind of the same in American, in US dollars, and you get the watch with two different straps. A very nice vintage offering from Oris. And staying with Swiss watches, we move into a whole other category, at least with the price. And we move into a very interesting offering from Rolex. And this is a new Rolex watch in the Cellini line. So the Cellini line is the very dress-like watch line that Rolex does, but from what I heard, they never had much success with this line of Cellini watches. But what they did this time was, for the first time in more than 50 years, do a moon watch. Sorry, a moon phase watch. What often lacks from Rolex is the very the more complicated complications within watches. They do high quality, very accurate watches, but the finer complications they don't really do. With this watch, you of course get a very beautiful moon phase. Also, if you look at the blue hand, this is actually the date hand. So this hand will move around following the date. So you actually have four hands on this watch, with the one being the date. This comes in a gold case, so of course this is not a very affordable watch as such. It's a 39 millimeter size, 18 karat Eros gold. Also, a very interesting thing with this moon phase is that um, the moon of the moon phase is actually made by a kind of material that looks like a meteorite. So you get this kind of very moon-like look for this watch. It's a superlative chronometer certified watch. In 2000 was certified in 2015. This new certification that Rolex does themselves. So you get a very accurate watch. It's so accurate that it's accurate to -2 to +2 seconds per day. Very interesting and very accurate watch. Very beautiful watch that Rolex did with this one. If we get a bit into the different details with this watch, you get a domed sapphire crystal. It's water resistant down to 50 meters. It's fitted with the 3195 Rolex in-house movement, and it comes on a very nice tobacco leather strap. A very interesting and nice watch from Rolex with a 48-hour power reserve. And moving on from the very expensive Rolex Cellini and Swiss watchmaking, and moving towards Japan, because of course Seiko also did a very nice dress watch. They actually did a line of new Grand Seiko watches, which are re-editions of the first Grand Seiko watches they did. But I did not pick one of these Grand Seiko watches for the one I'm going to present you with in this video. What I picked is a new Seiko cocktail time. So you may know the cocktail time from the very famous dial, the SARB065, but actually Seiko are discontinuing this line of watches as they are moving the cocktail time into the Presage line, which are releasing 20 new models this year. And I picked out one of the models which is absolutely beautiful in my opinion, with this very nice dial, and also you get the kind of date wheel at the bottom of this face. I think it's an absolutely beautiful cocktail time version they did here with Seiko. So this version is called the SSA 341, as far as I can figure out. It's Seiko are not very nice and very good at really giving you all the details, but you get a watch which has a diameter of 40.5 millimeters, a thickness of 14.5. It's water resistant down to 50 meters, sorry. It's a stainless steel case. It's a Hardlex crystal, which is a bit of a letdown, but still, as this is not a tool watch, you won't be banging this watch around. You won't be wearing this watch when you're out doing some work or something. You're only going to wear this watch at a party or where you're going. So it's a caliber 4R57 movement. It has 29 joules and a power reserve of 41 hours. So all in all, a very nice looking watch. But the best part of this watch, and that's actually the price. This is priced at only 540 euros. And moving on to the fourth watch of this walkthrough of the most special, interesting dress watches of Baselworld 2017, we're actually moving from Japan to Germany. And this is a German brand called Sinn. You probably know Sinn. But Sinn has done a really interesting kind of minimalist dress watch they call the 1736 STI4N. So let's just keep it at 1736. So it's a very interesting watch. If we look at the movement, It's an ETA 2892-A2, a self-winding movement, of course. I really like the look of this watch. So what Sin did here was really doing kind of almost classic German minimalist design of this watch. If we look at the dial, it's extremely simple. All you get is made in Germany. At 6 o'clock, you get only two hands, hours and minutes, of course. You get no numbers indications, only these nice golden indications of the hours. And also you get an applied Sin logo. A very beautiful watch, extremely simple and in a high polished case. I think this watch looks absolutely amazing. So a very interesting thing with this watch is that Sin actually went all the way back to doing the very classical kind of dress watch sizes, as this watch only measures 36 millimeters. And also this watch is only 9 millimeters thick, so you get a very classic looking minimalist dress watch with this one. I think it's an absolutely stunning watch. To me, I'm afraid that probably 36 millimeters will get too small, but if you're really into doing the classic thing with dress watches, this could be a perfect choice. A very simple, very beautiful watch, especially the way that they did the dial with the play between this kind of silver dial with applied gold hour markings, hands, and also the logo. I think this watch looks absolutely amazing, and this high polish they did with the case is just great. A very interesting watch. So the price at 1,780 American dollars is very nice. A watch at this caliber is and with this beautiful design, I think it's not a completely crazy price. Even though it's not an in-house movement, they fitted. It's like I said, an ETA movement. They fitted into to this watch. Okay, and here we are back with the fifth and last of these five dress watches I'm presenting in this video. And this is absolutely the most interesting and beautiful in my opinion. Although I really love the Rolex Cellini, if we have to look at what is very affordable and still very beautiful and high quality, I think that the Longines flagship Heritage 60th anniversary watch is absolutely spot on. This is just an amazingly beautiful watch. So this is a remake, a re-edition of the flagship line that Longines have started releasing many years ago, and this is the 60th anniversary of this watch line, which came out in 1957. So what we get here is a beautiful dress watch, in my opinion. Golden hour markings, golden hands, uh, a very simple dial with the Longines name and logo as well as the flagship writing. But what I really like is the small second at above the 6 o'clock on the watch. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Also, the movement in this watch is very nice. It's actually the same movement as in the Sin I just mentioned. This is the movement ETA 2892, which is a very accurate, tried, uh, nice quality Swiss movement. So they made this movement into their own by doing some modifications, but still the base is an ETA. So also they did this watch in a very nice dress watch size of only 38.5 millimeters. So this is a very nice thing to do. I think they really hit the spot on with this one. This should also be a rose gold version, limited to only 60 pieces. So with this one, I think it's an unlimited release, so you should be able to buy this watch. I think it's absolutely amazing. So this watch has a 42-hour power reserve and is water resistant to down to 30 meters. But what is really interesting with this watch is actually the price. It's going to start at a retail price at 3,040 American dollars, and I think you should probably be able to find this watch at a much lower price. I think this price point is for what you're getting, such a beautiful watch with a lot of history, and everything just seems to fall perfectly into place with this watch. I think it's a very nice price for a caliber of this. a watch of this caliber. So this was my walkthrough of the 5 most interesting dress watches of Baselworld 2017. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you can hit the logo button down in the right corner, and then you can subscribe to my channel and get notifications whenever I'm going to release new watch content. Also, remember to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, leave a comment, a thumbs up, and email me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.